opportunity to come into your presence, Lord, as a governing body. Lord, I pray that your hand would be upon us, Lord, that we would do the work for the citizens of this city. Lord, I pray that you would be with our citizens in this season, Lord. Lord, I pray you be with those who may be going through hardships. Lord, may they seek us out as a community and as a government to help them get through what can be trying times. Lord, I pray you be with our first responders, our fire, our police, and our EMS. Lord, we thank them for all they do, and Lord, we pray you keep your protection upon them. In your name we do pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So good.
My first visitor will be Jeff Moran.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Tomorrow, there's a meeting for the Safety Committee to pass rules for where police officers are going to live and take their cars home. I've had conversations with the chief and maybe others. I'm hoping that the city, which appears to be in need of money, I guess there always are, aren't they? But they would be helped by having police officers that live closer to the city. The number of officers that live in the city is minuscule. I think the citizens might like to have a little closer representation. Qualified officers are everywhere. Gone are the days when, you had to go by department to get them all out of one department to get qualified. There are number of departments this size and bigger that can be sources for the police officers. And I say that live in the city, I don't really mean live in Jeffersontown, but they live close enough that they are affected by Jeffersontown in their daily life. They come shop here. They have friends that work here. They come here when they're off. So as a way to save a little bit money, maybe we should localize our police force a little more. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
Appreciate that. Next, Ray Perkins. Hello, Ray.
Oh, Mayor, thank you all for having me. Good to see you. I distributed something to everybody earlier. Should be in front of you. I got some notes here, so just bear with me when I go through it. I think for the record, I'm supposed to say I'm Ray Perkins, 9902 Taylorsville Road. I'm not here to complain or ask for anything. I'm here to hopefully help. I just want to clear the air. There's no animosity between the mayor and myself. We're good friends. We talk frequently, and I try to help any way I can. These are just some of my own observations before, when I was on the council, and since. J-Town's in real trouble. And I don't know that everybody realizes the extent of it. So I've done some research and presented it to you all tonight. I hope you don't try to just ignore it and hope it goes away, because it won't without action. A year ago, the city had zero debt. Now you're in debt to $10 million.
Not by my fault.
Well, I'm getting to that, Mayor. Yes, I said,
Thank
I
you.
understand why. It's because of the mess that was left behind by former Mayor Dourif. He wasn't very honest with any of us. I did my best to warn the council, and I will say this, I appreciate, and it's very nice that a lot of people told me I was right, but it's really of little consequence after the fact. The damage is done. The question now is, how do we fix it? Or you all fix it? I distributed a paper to you, and I got these numbers from from Bill Fox with the city. These are the occupational tax revenues per year from 19 through 23. And you'll see that in 19 it was 14.4, 20 it was 14.9, 21 it was 14.5. It actually went down that year. Then in 22, it jumped to 15.6. Last year, it was 16.4. Cumulative, from 2019 to 23, that's a 13.8% increase. If you look to the bottom, the next, I got this from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. The top dotted line are wages and salaries. The solid line is benefits. And you can see where, back in 19, wages were about 28, and they went up as high as almost 50. And right now, they're about, they went up over 50, and right now they're about 45. So nationally, wages have increased about 40%. And you'll see that here on a local level too, even here in the city of Jeffersontown. And Bill Fox is much more familiar with these numbers than I am, but I believe in 2020, everyone got about a 5% raise. 2021, about a 5% raise. 2022 was a 10% raise. 2023 is a 6% raise. And when you stack those on top of it, it gets up to over 40%. I guess what I'm trying to point out is your revenue isn't keeping up with inflation. And you've got to do something to bring in more money. That's cut and dry. You either have to reduce cost or increase revenue. I'm not here to advocate to cut people's salary. A lot of people, when I did that before, it was a different time. In 2010, we were in the middle of the last recession, which was the last time I believe Jeffersontown had a negative occupational tax income. And we were still giving raises. At that time, if we put an ad out that we were needing a police officer, we'd get 200 plus applications. We don't get that anymore. Times have flipped. The workers are in control. And if you don't pay them more, they will go someplace else that pays better. It's just facts.
Fact.
I'm not trying to be, I was accused during the campaign because I advocated for the $5,000 COVID bonus for the police officers in public works. And they said, well, that's just political nonsense. No, it's because A, they deserved it, but B, again, you're not going to be able to keep people if you don't pay them market conditions. And I think you've got to keep that in mind. So I guess what I'm really kind of pushing for is, how do you fix this? I know it's been proposed, annexing new adjacent parts of Jeffersontown, and that's a good thing, maybe. You have to be careful what your costs are compared to the revenue it brings in. And in the past, when they've annexed places, even though the former mayor would tell us otherwise, it usually costs you, at least you'll be lucky to break even, if not cost you money. I think Mark Bloom was on that committee when he proposed it to us, and he left out one of the biggest things was garbage collection. So when you added that in, it showed a $5,000, taking in $5,000 more than you spent. What he left out was he hired 2 new police officers. Police officers cost you a couple $100,000 a piece. They're not cheap anymore. I mean, and do you blame them? People don't respect them. They spit on them. You don't have as many people wanting to get into law enforcement. So if you're going to get quality officers, you're going to have to pay them. Same thing with public works. Tradespeople are extremely high demand. I mean, I'm sure you that had work done on your homes, it costs a lot more than it used to. So I think we got to look at other types of economic development, and economic development has changed so much. It used to be you used to go out and try to recruit these huge companies to move to Jeffersontown, and that's just not realistic in this today's world. I had some statistics here. I'm trying to find them in my note. Experts are saying 25% of the people will never go back to the office, and the rest of them will be on some kind of hybrid plan where they go to office maybe a couple days a week, the other 3 days a week they work from home. Technically, if they're working from home and they do not live in Jeffersontown, they don't have to pay that 1% occupational tax. Now, I don't think a lot of them have caught on to that.
I think we on talk about that.
Pardon?
Don't tell everybody.
Sorry. Let the cat out of the bag, didn't I? Unfortunately, from our current system, and Bill looked into it for me, it doesn't have the capability of tracking how many people have actually worked in Jeffersontown in any particular year. So it's hard to know if we have less people working here now than we did before. But I think you can deduct with a reasonable assumption that if we've only grown at 13.8% and nationally it's grown at 40%, we've lost a lot of people in Jeffersontown that don't work here anymore. So I would like to maybe suggest going a different route. Maybe instead of going after that one big company that's going to bring 300 or 400 employees with them, which is great if you can get it, but go
Okay.
after a lot of smaller firms. Hopefully, maybe 5 or 6 people at a time. Yes, it takes 100 of them to equal the one big one, but I think you might have more success doing that.
Ray, we have probably got the most powerful economic development in our time since we've had it here. Before, our previous economic development person could sit there and they'd walk in the door. That was all pre-COVID. So now with me being here and with the connections that I've had and with Matt and Brian, I feel like our economic development is going to be very strong. And you're right. I'm going after the littlest person, whether they have 1 employee or 1,000 employees. We've got to have it. And in order for Jeffersontown to succeed, and I made this statement this morning to someone, we have got to succeed in the economic development. It's got to be here, guys. And if we don't have that and be strong in that and spend our money to get these people here, the way that we know J-Town today will not be unless, a miracle happens over in Industrial Park again. I mean, I hear what you're saying and I know what you're saying. And believe me, I did not know, but I sure found out,
Carol, we have lots of discussions. I support you 100%. I think
Thank
you're
you.
doing everything you can. Some people may think that's odd since we were adversaries in the election, but whether I'm on the council or mayor or just a citizen, it's still my town too. And I want to see it succeed. And I think that's just petty to wish someone else ill,
Failure.
for your own your own purposes.
Right. Well, thank you.
And I that, Carol, that's sincere.
Know that.
So any way I can help you guys, I'll be glad to. I don't claim to have all the answers. I know before I was called Henny Penny and lots of Bill Duroff.
Oh.
The sky is falling. And I'm not saying it's, it hasn't collapsed yet, but you've got to make some real changes now to prevent it from happening. And it may require a lot from each and every one of you council people. I realize you don't have the contacts, but maybe you need to go out and knock on doors and make those contacts and recruit people to come to Jeffersontown. That's going to take a lot more time. I get it. I'd like to say I wish it was like the old days, where we spend 5 or 6 hours a month, draw a big check and nice health insurance. But now it's going to require more. It just is.
Yeah.
That's all I have. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Ray,
Ray.
for coming. Appreciate it. Reading of the minutes, November 21st, 2023.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. Second. From November 21st, 2023. Second.
All in favor?
Uh,
Opposed? Motion carried. General fund warrant number 1597.
I'll make a motion to approve general fund warrant number 1597.
Second.
All in favor?
uh,
Opposed? Motion carried. Road fund warrant number 984.
Make a motion, we approve road fund warrant 984 is distributed.
Second.
All in favor?
uh,
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have the audit presentation. Every year, we get audited, and they have spent many hours up here with all of us over the last several months. And I have to say, I don't know how you do your job. It's probably one of the most boring ones I've ever been around in my life. It's worse than me doing my checkbook. So anyway, thank you for coming. And tell them it's not as doom and gloom as what we think, but thank you for coming.
Sure. I appreciate that introduction. So
You like that?
with that. So I'm here today. My name is Debbie Smith. I work with, it's called Cherry Beckert now. Our firm was previously MCM CPAs. And your audit is issued under MCM CPAs. That'll be who it's from. I am a partner in our Lexington office and my specialty is in government. So we've been doing your audit for a few years now. I think this was our third, maybe. And we really appreciate it. We do come here and spend a lot of time and bother management and the staff a lot. So we appreciate their cooperation. Your audit is in fact very boring, which is very good. It means I have nothing to tell you that's going to be negative today. So that's a positive. So I'm just going to go over, you have a copy of the audit report in front of you. If you have questions at any point, you're welcome to contact us. You should have also, we'll have this auditor's communication for you that has the audit team listed. This is really for your reference at some point. If you don't have a copy right now, we can get you an electronic copy. This is really something we give at the end of the audit just to tell you some required communications, but also to give you a list of your team members for the audit should you ever have any questions. And the other things that it communicates, we also tell you in person normally. That is that we didn't have any disagreements with management. We had no issues performing the audit. It went just exactly as planned. They had everything ready when we asked. We didn't have any findings on internal controls. We did not have any suggestions for improvement there, which is very important to you all. We did not find any adjustments or issues that we thought should come to your attention. We do not look for fraud during an audit, but we did not find any. So if we did, we would have reported it to you. And also there are several things that we have to consider in an audit that we consider very important to communicate. Those are risks that underlie every audit. We found nothing. We specifically look at certain risks like journal entries and management override, and we found nothing in those areas to report to you because we found no problems at all. The other document that you have is the audit. I'm not going to go through the page by page because that would be boring for everyone. What I am going to tell you is an overview, what I think is of your year, what's important for you to know. The first thing, the most important for our standpoint is that your audit opinion that's in there at the beginning is an unmodified or clean opinion, which is the highest level of opinion. And what it tells you is that we believe that your financial statements are fairly stated. Your financial statements are prepared by management. They do an excellent job giving us the information, and then we give an opinion on that and say that it's fairly stated in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. Something that's different this year from last year, it kind of comes and goes for you all, is your federal spending. So whenever you spend more than $750,000 in federal funds, and this year you spent $5.4 million in federal funds, we have to do what's called a single audit. So we have to do additional procedures, and there's a lot of additional reporting to the government on your behalf. So this year for our single audit, we focused on your two programs that were considered major in our testing, and that's the ARPA funds that you spent, and then the highway planning and construction. Pleased to report there's two reports in the back of this that relate to the federal funding. Neither have any findings. There's no compliance issues noted. Everything went very well with our testing. So we had no internal control recommendations related to either program either. Throwing pins.
Is there a certain page around there? Just giving us the overview.
I was doing the overview, but I can tell you, no, it's the audit opinion itself is the first one. It's right behind the table of contents. And then in the back, there's two more audit reports that start on page 57, or actually 55. Both of those are the federal reports that tell you that there were no findings in internal control. And actually for the government, we also have to do a little summary on page 60. So they have us do the reports and then we do a summary for them as well. And on page 60 tells you that your opinion was unmodified, you had no findings. And then it also shows you what we tested as a major program so that you know what compliance we specifically had to look at. Yeah, as opposed to the federal names that I'm giving it.
It's the government funds that we got to use.
So what I do want to point out in this document, if you read nothing else in here, the beginning of this, starting on page 4, is the management's discussion and analysis. And so it does a good job of talking about your audit, talking about your financials and your accounting, but also doing comparisons and explaining how your year went. So the pages that I would just point you to briefly, page 5 and page 6, do a comparison on a government-wide basis of how your year was. Shows you that your assets increased significantly. I think your whole year is pretty much characterized by the fact that you had so many construction and process projects going on. There was a lot happening. A lot of that was funded by the highway planning and the ARPA. But you have the police headquarters in process, the Waterson Trail streetscape project is in process, and then also the amphitheater that you've talked about. So those significantly increased. If you see that capital assets line, they significantly increased that during the year because you still have those projects ongoing. None of that was funded during the current year by any additional borrowings or liabilities. I know you took out a bond after year end. We've disclosed in here, but during the year, you did not need to take one out because you used your current money, mostly the ARPA money in particular. And then on page 6 is where it talks about your revenue for the year and your revenues on a government-wide basis. You can see that change in net position near the bottom is on a government-wide basis, basically your net income for the year of 2.7 million. This also shows you where you had increases and decreases during the year. You'll see a special projects line. That was a lot of the special things that you bought with ARPA money that weren't capitalized during the year. And then I think on page 7, yeah, is a good characterization, shows you what you have in process. That construction progress is at the top, and that capital assets detail is what you have ongoing where you had not finished projects at year end. Any questions on any of that? This first part really summarizes the rest of the statements, kind of in a shorter fashion, so you don't have to go through all of them. I will say that a couple things about your statements. A lot of this document, things that we point out are if there are changes in accounting principles, there were none this year because that's important to the audit and your financials, and there aren't any upcoming that we anticipate to have an impact on you. A lot of this document is a lot of required disclosures about the pension. You all participate in CERS, so there are probably 30 pages of schedules and documentation telling you how the pension is valued, because that's obviously the largest liability that you all will have on a government-wide basis. That's allocated to you based on your payroll expenditure. So I'm not going to go into detail into all of those because that is a lot of information. But what I'd like to ask is if you have questions about the audit itself or the financial or this year. One thing that I did want to point out is that you do, when you look at cash, you see that you have a lot of restricted cash. Those are monies that came in related to projects that are ongoing from the federal government. So you have about $9 million in restricted cash right now, but you still have a very strong unrestricted $7 million balance too.
So we're good.
Thank you for summing that up. Do you all have questions of me? And if you have questions after you look at it, feel free to reach out. I know it's a very large document full of information. It's a lot. It's a lot of numbers. Skip all the pension pages because they're just a lot of information that no one, probably more than anyone, would ever want. So
The book that Debbie held up, I have it in my office. I will put it in your mailbox. So
oh yes,
I hadn't put it in there yet.
it's pretty.
That one. So it'll be in your mailbox before you leave today if you want to pick it up, or just come by my office and get one.
And if it had anything in it that we needed to go over that was significant, would have already mentioned it. But if you have any questions on it, as I said, our information is in here. We're engaged by the board. So anything that you as city council want to ask, feel free to let us know if you have any questions later. That's it.
Well,
Thank you
team.
very
I know
much
it's a
for
lot of
coming.
work.
Thank you all.
putting it all together. Thank you all very
Thank
much.
you. And thanks to everyone in the staff who helped us with the audit information.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Second reading of ordinance number 1446, series 2023.
That's on page 7 of the audit.
You know what? This time next year, if we're still sitting here, we'll still be on it because I can't explain it to you. It's a very detailed and I've gone over it and over it. Thank goodness there are people like her.
I was gonna say, Mayor, it was good that you were able to summarize it with her. So it's good?
So it's good.
So it's good.
Good, yes.
Yeah, that's the
I
end of
kept
the day.
asking her that the whole time she was here. Are you good? Are we good? So anyway, for you young men that are out there, that means that we haven't spent more money than what we're taking in and that we have money to pay our bills. So that's what that means. All that is sitting there. That's what that all was about. So, okay, next thing, second reading of ordinance number 1446, series 2023.
I make a motion for second reading of ordinance 1446, series 2023 by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
An ordinance relating to the appropriation of 2022-2023 unappropriating funds for non-budget expenditures. In way of summary, the total amount was $658,184. The distribution in this ordinance is $189,000 to police, $114,334 to special projects, improvement projects, $82,000 to public works, $272,850 interest paid on the bond, $10,000 for street paving. This being a second reading, Madam Mayor, you may entertain a motion for passage.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, I would like to introduce our Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts. What troop is this? Well, we want to welcome you here and thank you for coming. Do any of you all have any questions? No? Well, maybe someday you can run for city council because you are the leaders of tomorrow. I hate to say that, but you are. And thank you for taking some interest in the government. Thank you. Next will be committee reports. Councilman Carmen,
Mayor, no report from planning and zoning.
Councilman Grisanti,
No report from Public Works. Snow
Councilman,
removal's going great.
huh? What'd you say?
Snow removal's going great.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it is. I like that. Councilman Hickey.
I have nothing to report from Parks and Rec. Debbie, do you have, I know there's a lot going on. Do you have anything?
Oh, come up. You got like 4 events going.
Yeah.
Come on out.
I'm glad you're coming up here because there was a question I need to ask you anyway. I was going to ask you at the end.
Okay.
when it came to my time, but-
We do have the holiday decorating, house decorating contest that ends on Sunday. And I think so far, Emily, what do we have? We have 9 houses that have submitted their names, so we have that. We're starting on Thursday. We have Santa sightings through Jefferson Town, so he'll be all around, and possibly the Grinch will be around too. We do have 2 pop-up Santa Claus events this Saturday at Farmers Market from 12 to 2. I'm sorry, 10 to 12. And then on the 16th, it's 12 to 2, and that is kid and animal friendly. So if you have your iguana or your snake or your dog, please bring them. This Thursday, the next 3 Thursdays, this December 7th, 14th, and 21st, we have our Santa's Jolly Trolley. Santa will be making his way around the neighborhoods of Jefferson Town, and we'll have a police escort that will be following us with the lights. And we have certain neighborhoods every day, but every neighborhood in Jefferson Town will be covered over the next 3 Thursdays. So be on the lookout for the Jefferson Town trolley. And then,
But I wanted to clarify you
Yes.
on. I was reading that on someone's Facebook, and it looks like to me, I think it was yours, Mark, that it looks like that we're inviting the public to come ride on the trolley. And
No.
that's the impression I got.
No.
And I
No,
know that
no,
that's
it's
not
just
so.
driving around the neighborhood, yeah, and it's
Oh,
just
really?
standing there, just waving at Santa. Santa's gonna be
Okay.
at the door and waving at the kids and the people on the side, but
Make sure.
yeah, it's no getting on the trolley. The Santa will not be stopping. It's a strictly wave at Santa. Santa's in Jefferson Town, and just come by and wave at us. So no, yes, the Santa on the trolley will not be making any stops. It's 2 hours, and that's the longest he has is away from the North Pole. So 2 hours is all we
Okay.
got on Thursdays.
Mayor, I was just sharing the city's event.
Yeah, I know. That's why I know you were sharing it, but I was going to point it out to them that that was what I read, but that could just be me, that I thought, we can't pick up those people.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, on our last, but we have a specific route, and so we have Jeremy driving it, so it's either way. So, we'll figure that out. Be on the lookout, exactly.
Come, runaway Santa.
Runaway Santa. And then on the 23rd, we have Pancakes with Santa at the Jeffersonian, and that will be from 9 to 12:30, and it's only $8 a person, and it's an all-you-can-eat pancakes and tang, because you know that goes together, and it's just $8, so please let people know about that. Oh, and then next Wednesday, just as a reminder to the council that we're going to do the judging for the 9, 10, 11 houses, however many we have. We'll need you all at the Public Works at 6 o'clock. Thinking it'll probably take a couple hours at the most. It might take more, but I'm thinking 2
The
hours. at the
first
most.
place is $500.
First place is
Second place.
$500. Yeah.
Is it too late for me to add? now?
True story. No, it's just
got-
one, just
got
one
till
prize.
Sunday.
Just one prize. So you have till Sunday at 5 o'clock. So, I mean, I'm impressed that we got nine or 10 houses so far. So that's what we got. A lot of things
That's
going
fine.
on.
Scattered? Are they all in different areas? Or are they all pretty much?
It's all pretty much all over. Yeah, it's not in one area. There was a person on Facebook today that made a comment that says, "You people in J-Town know how to treat your citizens." So
Good. I'm glad they
yeah,
liked
so
it
people
better.
are excited. So lots of fun things, and Santa will be around. So toot if you hear him, and wave and all that good stuff. So do y'all have any questions for Emily and I before this week or anything like that?
I just was wondering how Santa keeps from getting pancake syrup in his beard.
He won't be serving.
Okay.
Yeah. No. Well, you know, Santa, he's got Mrs. Claus to keep him clean. So,
Okay.
absolutely. So, but no, we've got a lot of fun things. We're getting lots of good things. Social media is really talking about it. And we do have the new person that he was even here yesterday, Rudy the elf. He shoved in around, and he was up here wrecking havoc on Mayor Pike's seat. So he was on Facebook. So he's been going to all the city facilities and finding things. So Rudy the elf, you have to look on our Facebook page for him too. So every day he's someplace.
Someplace.
He's someplace, yes.
Yeah,
So-
I just want to say, Debbie, Emily, you guys are doing a great job.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for all the
People
engagement.
enjoy it, and
Yeah.
our citizens enjoy it. They
Yes.
enjoy the fun that we bring to our citizens.
Absolutely. It's a fun job to have. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Debbie, we all know how hard the two of you all work, like Mark said, but I hope the community does realize it,
Thank you.
because y'all put a lot of hours in and a lot of heart goes into it.
It does. It does. I mean, I laugh. I get called the director of happiness, but you know what? It's a fun job. And when you can have a fun job and do what you want to do and bring ideas to Mayor Pike, and she's like, yeah, let's do it. And when you've got a boss that supports you, that's the biggest thing. And Emily, I mean, we work hand in hand together with it all. So it's a great job, and December's a fun time to support Santa
Yeah.
and all the fun things. So, and thank you all also for Light Up. It was a success for the weather that we had, but I mean, we went through it. And so we probably had a couple hundred people, but it was a nice day. So
Yeah.
thank you all for y'all support. And do y'all have any questions?
I do.
Yes, ma'am.
Somebody said to me, past Friday night that half the lights weren't on in the Veterans
When it
Park.
rains, we have issues with the lights up there, and they were on the left-hand side over there by, across from Pavilion 6, that whole section was out. I believe the next day they were on, probably Ricky went by and checked it and flipped the breakers. We do have issues when it does rain with some of our, animatronics, so yes.
Anything else? No. Thank you, Debbie. and
Thank
Emily.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Emily.
It'll pick you up at Public Works next Wednesday night, so we'll just do that down there, okay?
Okay. Who's driving?
Jeremy,
Jeremy. Okay.
Jeremy.
That's Santa.
Which one are you talking about? Yeah, that'd be Public Works. Yeah, so Public Works.
Not riding on that.
No, unless you want to. Unless you want to more than, if you want to ride and go around the neighborhoods with Santa, absolutely.
That'd be fun.
Actually, the Grinch might be on there
I might
too.
want to do it.
I haven't decided yet,
So
so.
Debbie, if we want to do that, where should we meet at Public Works? for
Public
that
Works,
also?
it's, probably about 5:45.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll leave out of there. And that will be the next 3 Thursdays. So if you can't do it this Thursday and you want to do it next Thursday, that's fine. And we've got a speaker getting mounted on the trolley. So we're going to be playing Christmas music and all that kind of stuff. And we got a microphone so we can holler at people and Santa can ho, ho, ho his way all the way around J-Town.
Ho, ho, ho is way down.
That Tuesday before the Thursday, like we just put up the route for this Thursday. Then next Tuesday, we'll put out route, the following, the 14th, and then the 19th, we'll put out the 21st. But every single neighborhood in Jeffersontown is being touched. Might not come down your street, but you can come out with your hot chocolate and wave at Santa as he goes by and wish everybody Merry Christmas.
Mrs. Claus going to be present?
I'm hoping, but I'm not sure if she's making that trip from Miami Beach.
She's with the elves.
She is working hard with the elves. Yeah, probably saving the elves down there.
She's the real planner of that
Yes,
operation.
yes, she is. Yes, she is. Thank you all for y'all's support again.
Welcome.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you. Bye-bye. Councilman Ware.
A few things. We have the police banquet this Friday at 6 o'clock. And Chief, is it at Jeffersonian? Okay. I couldn't remember if it's a Marriott or Jeffersonian. And I have a safety meeting at 5 o'clock tomorrow. And then I had a question about this little book you gave us. Are these new photos in here?
Didn't we have one of these when we went to Lexington?
Okay. I didn't know if the pictures that were updated of all the officers. That was last year.
Yeah, 22.
Okay. That's all I have.
Got it. Councilman Bloom.
Nothing from finance, but we do have an ad hoc property maintenance code and land development code committee meeting this Thursday at 5. And that's it.
Thank you. Councilman Head.
Oh, me,
I
legislative.
almost called you Councilman Allison, sorry.
That's fine. I'll go by anything. We did meet this afternoon, the legislative committee, and I guess Fred's putting something together, an amendment for the ordinance we already have for the pet, or the animal ordinance. So he'll get back with us when he has that put together, and that's it.
Thank you. Councilman Hall.
Is Brian or Matt, either one of you all have an economic development report you'd like to share, please?
Don't have anything in particular, but I just want to let you know I did going to be facilitating the call that I got orchestrated virtual meeting anyway with a company called Temperify out of Germany. This is one that we met through one of the contacts that we went on the FAM tour there. So I've got them in a virtual meeting set up with Papa John's and some of their executives because they were kind of fascinated by Papa John's code supply chain process. Even though Papa John's does food and dough for pizza, this company does pharmaceutical types of cooling systems in order to be able to be transported just in time and that. So they are looking for the Midwestern region. So at least I'm orchestrating that meeting and hopefully have some good results on that. And I'll report back after that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Chief, I'm excited about the police banquet this week. You know, a lot of times you come to us with some reports, but we don't always hear the superstars, the other events and turmoils that go on out there. So I'm excited to hear when people get the commendation. So excited for that event. Debbie, Emily, you all have already got a little bit. I was going to thank you all, even though the weather did not help us any. Emily was standing there with some of the public works guys, Ricky, Vic, and Tommy, and you. And I was there, but I was saying, do you want me to throw a horse around? Just waiting for 2 vendors to get out of there and you guys wouldn't leave so we could open up the road. So thank you for the extra time. Appreciate that, Public Works and Parks and Rec. So lastly, to Mr. Fox, Holly, anyone else that was involved with that audit. We go through those. I don't do the government audits, but we go through them in my business too. And all the information you get called and asked for that you need immediate response on. So I appreciate your all's effort on that. And I really can't wait to look through that
Have fun tonight.
62 page document. And if I got any questions, I'll get with you, Mr. Fox. That'll do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Councilman Smith.
No report from administrative, but, the council had, given the Saint Nick Fund, a donation. And their shopping event is this, Sunday, the 10th at Myers at 6 o'clock. And they wanted to extend an invitation to all of you guys if you wanted to come shop.
This Sunday at 6.
At Myers. And if you wanted to come shop, you are more than welcome.
David doing
Thank you.
that?
Uh-huh, David Bowe, yep.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Thank you. Only thing that I have is that we have a lot of events going on the next couple of weeks, guys. As far as our public works and our police department, as far as everybody is here, I will say this. It's been a kind of a tiring week up here this last week. It's been a lot of things that have gone on. And, you know, it's this department and everybody in City Hall that makes this place run. And you just cannot run without everybody. And they all are a piece of this puzzle. And I just want to thank y'all because I couldn't live without you. And that's the truth. Every one of you. So anyway, with that being said,
Mayor, can I add one more thing before you ask for adjournment?
Mhm.
I had Jimmy on my list. I forgot.
Go
Been
ahead.
talking about public works. I needed to talk about Jimmy. Jimmy got a phone call from me at 5:20 on Friday afternoon. Hey, buddy, how you doing? That's the way he answered his phone. And I said, well, I'm going to ruin your Friday. I just saw a semi come through right here on Billtown Road, crossing over Waterston Trail, slingshot the stoplights. Went this way and slingshot those, and the transformer went out.
yes.
He said, well, thank you for your call. I said, I can go to Public Works and throw up some stop signs if you want. I got people on call. I got to make 2 calls. We're taken care of. You all on this council don't need to worry about that. I'm on it. So thank you, Jimmy. Sorry to take my 5 o'clock in the afternoon Friday phone call, but appreciate you taking care of that. Those stop signs were up when I rolled back through an hour later. So thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy, on that. And not only did we have that, we had a pipe bust here on Taylorsville Road, and it was going everywhere, and the road was starting to cave in. It was crazy. City Hall went without water, and so that's been an event this past week as well. So, I know they're still working on it, yeah. So anyway, okay, with that being said, Reverend Carmen,
Mayor, I'll make a motion for adjournment.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Kevin, if I was Tom, I'd be a little afraid. You did a great sermon tonight.